If you're a braider and a mom and you are fully booked and your body is tired, your hands hurt, and you still can't stop working without losing money, this video is for you. Just 2 days ago, one of my moms, a fully booked braider inside of my coaching program, told me she got 4 new students by implementing what I'm going to show you today. And she made money without braiding a single head. Now here's the crazy part. Most braiders aren't doing what she just did. Most of you think getting rich comes from more clients, more hours, and more work. But that's actually the reason you're stuck. So in this video, I'm going to show you how braiders are really getting rich without braiding hair. I'm going to break down what rich really means for moms like you, why the way you are working is currently slowing you down, and the 5-step rich mom blueprint you can use today to create income that keeps you from being stuck behind a chair. I'm Jaylin Dorsey Mitchell. I'm a business consultant for fully booked braiders who are moms, and I want to share with you today the 5-step rich mom blueprint that I share with my students. So I remember I was listening to Myron Golden. If you don't know who Myron Golden is, he's like one of the greatest business coaches, consultants out there, like right now, the modern day King Solomon. And he was talking to this guy named Garrett, I believe, on the YouTube video. And they were talking about how someone, I can't remember who they said that rich means how many days you can take off without worrying, without working and not have to worry about money coming in. Like, how many days can you survive if you took off of work? And that made me think, like, dang, how many days can I survive if I took off of work? And I started thinking about, like, wow, what is my version of rich? Like, is it going to be, is it money? Is it time? And I realized that my version of rich is when I know that I'm rich when I calculate I'm making about $1.6 million. And me and my wife are able to take 1 weekend trip a month, 1 7-day trip a quarter, take 1 full month off out the year. We're able to hire a night sitter, a babysitter. We're able to have a private chef come cook for us so we don't have to worry about cooking. We can get somebody to wash our clothes. And you see I have a special guest today. She is sleepy. So I believe we need to first redefine what is rich. Like, what is rich going to be for you? Because rich isn't money. I mean, it is, but I believe for moms like you who are fully booked braiders and for people like me who is a dad and consulting you, rich for us is really time freedom, because we don't really want the money. We want what the money can do for us. For you, I want you to sit here and I want you to redefine what is rich for you. What does that look like? How many days are you off? How many days are you, how many trips are you taking a year? Right? The first thing I need you to do before we go into the 5-step rich mom blueprint is I need you to think about what is rich for you? All right. And if that is true, that rich isn't really about the money, it's about the time freedom, then that would mean that most braiders are doing the opposite. So I want to go into why the current way that you are working is not going to work for you. So your day probably looks something like this. You wake up and you work for early in the morning, let's say 10 a.m. start time appointments, and you probably drop your kids off before that, and you go and work 8, 10, 12 hours a day. You miss picking your kids up from school, or you miss being able to cook dinner for them at home, and you miss the homework. You probably miss some practices and milestone moments. I mean, I was even talking to one of the braiders that I got to talk to in the DMs, and she had talked about how since she braided so much, she missed out on being able to see her kids' first steps. And that was honestly crazy for me, because when we think about this, it's not that you as a braider is not working hard enough. It's just that the current way that you are working is built to keep you stuck. You know, I truly do believe that the braiding industry is one of the most taxing industries on not only the mom's body, but also the mom's mental compared to all the other industries. Because y'all stand on y'all feet all day, y'all using your hands, y'all using your feet, y'all using your hands, y'all backs, and all those different things. And, you know, I believe that if your money solely depends on your hands, then you will never be able to be free. So as we are thinking about that, you may be asking me like, okay, I know that the current way I'm working is not the right way. I understand that what I'm currently doing, being fully booked, being a mom, is not it. So Jaylin, what is the way? What should I do in order to start getting myself away from being a slave to this chair? And I believe that right now in history, it has never been easier an easier time, like ever, to be able to do the new way of making money without braiding hair. So when we think about this, we live in a time where you can take what's in your head and you can start giving that to other braiders to help them do or get to where you are at. So think about it. Your journey probably looked a little bit like this. And then it came off. Imagine that's a line. But you have knowledge in your head to where if you was to help another braider, you can help them go from here and their journey can be like this. And you see I still have the ridges in the line. It's not that you're going to make their journey be perfect, but since you already been through it, you can help them go through it easier and faster. So when we look at this, the way out of the chair, the way exiting is you taking what's in your head and turning it into something that other students can consume, that other braiders can learn from. I mean, I remember, this is crazy because I want to talk about what's going to block you from doing this, because now you know the way, and I'm going to give you the Rich Mind Blueprint, the 5 parts of doing so, like taking what's in your head and turning it into something that you could sell. But now that you know the way, I want to give you permission to allow yourself to believe that you are qualified. I was just on the phone with a braider, and we was in the process of closing a deal. She was like a prospect. And as we were on the phone, I told her my price. So, coaching with me is $6,000 at the time of recording this video. And when I was telling her my price, she was talking about how, oh man, this is such a good deal. Like, I feel like I need this. I know that there are braiders out there who need me and they have trouble doing these type of boho braids. And I feel like they braids be heavy, but my braids don't be heavy. Like, I know I should be doing this. I prayed on this. I did all these different things. But every time it came to say, okay, so since you know this already, and you say that my coaching program is it for you, let's go ahead and sign you up and get started. And she was like, I just need to think about it a little bit more. Like, who's going to learn from me? Who wants to learn from me? Am I really qualified to even teach this type of stuff? Who will listen to me? And I just kept going back and forth with her, which I feel like I should never done because I feel like I was pressuring her to do something. And I want to let you know that you never have to pressure anybody to do something that they already want to do. So if you ever feel yourself pressuring people to join your coaching program or join your mentorship, it's probably because they don't really want to do it, but they keep making excuses like they do. So I felt like I was pressuring her. And I realized that she kept telling me she wants to do this, but every time it was time to take action, she stopped herself from doing it. And I kept telling her, the problem for you is not that you're not qualified. The problem for you is that not that you don't have the skill to teach people. The problem for you is that you are not going to move or get to the level that you desire because you are scared to face the starting line. And so many braiders are stuck in their head. And can I be honest with you? I'm gonna look in the camera and tell you this because we having a couch conversation. Like me, you, we having a couch. You got baby Denver sitting right here. You've been braiding for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I mean, the last person that came on my masterclass where I revealed to braiders the exit plan that will keep them from becoming strangers to their kids, their moms, their man or themselves. She said she had been braiding for 30 plus years on that call, on that masterclass call when I was revealing the exit plan. And it made me realize that you already have the experience in the game because guess what? If you didn't have the experience in the game, you wouldn't have lasted this long. So it's not that you're not qualified. You have already been helping people. It's just that you have to understand that the only difference between you and people making money teaching is they decided that they were qualified and they made up in their mind to start. And even the ones who feel like they aren't qualified, even the ones who feel like, I don't know, but I'm going to push through, those are the ones who are making money online because they understand that there are people out there, there are hundreds of thousands of millions of braiders out there who would love, who were once where you were, and they're trying to get to where you are now, and you have the knowledge to go back and help them get to where you are now faster and easier. And that's why you are qualified. You're simply qualified because you have been through this journey already. And I made a prediction on my Instagram that the braiders who won't be burnt out, the braiders who won't be stuck behind the chair, who will keep missing moments with their kids, those braiders are going to be the ones who decide to take what's in their head, get out of their own way, and start making money teaching what they know. Okay? Because making money teaching what you know is allowing you to make what you would make with one client in a day in a couple minutes. Like imagine if you have a client who pays you $500 for boho braids or $250 for stitch braids, but you have a mentee that pays you $1,000 to join your 6-week mentorship program. You essentially just got two clients worth in one mentee, which would have probably took you, let's say 2 clients, 8 hours a client bare minimum. You just bought back 16 hours of your time. Let's say you do stitch braids. Let's say your stitch braids take you 2 hours, and somebody you charge $250 for them, but somebody invested $1,000 in your stitch braiding mentorship. You basically just got 4 clients out of one mentee, and since it's 2 hours to do those stitch braids, you literally just bought back 8 hours of your time just by taking what's in your head and making it available for people to buy. So the only difference, once again, between you and people who are making money teaching what they know is that they decided that they were qualified. And I want you to make the decision today to really think to yourself like, hey, I've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 25, 30 years. I would not have made it if I wasn't qualified to do so, right? I want you to comment in the chat that you are qualified at the time of, seeing this video. Does that make sense? Like you are qualified. You wouldn't have made it this far if you wasn't qualified. So now that you understand the shift of what's going to free you and why the old way of what you're doing is not it. Dang, she trying to eat my hand. And the new way is taking what's in your head and teaching what you know. Let me actually reveal to you the 5 things you need to do in order to start making money teaching what you know, okay? So this is the rich mom blueprint, how any braider can take what's in their head and start making money teaching what they know. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to do rich girl math. So I remember reading a book. It was called 10X is easier than 2X. No, it was either 10X is easier than 2X or 7 habits of highly effective people. And in that book, they talked about how what you need to do is you need to start with the end in mind. So you need to think about, okay, where do I want to go and work backwards? So for me and you, or for you, what you have to decide, number one is your rich girl math. Now, there are 2 numbers you need to know with your rich girl math, and this is how you get what I call your freedom number. Your freedom number is a combination of 2 things. It's going to be a combination of your survival number, and it's going to be a combination of your thrive number. So let's get into that. Your survival number is going to represent your bills. So think about your life insurance, car insurance, homeowner's insurance, your rent, your utilities, your shop rent. You want to write down, if you wrote like freedom number at the top of your page or in your phone notes while you're listening to me on your way, wherever you're going, if you wrote that at the top and then you put a bullet point, your survival number, I want you to think about what are all of the bills that you have to pay in a month to survive, to take care of your family, right? Think about all those things. And I want you to write that number down. Now, I believe that God, and when I say God, I mean the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I believe in Jesus Christ. That's my God. I believe God came here for me to have life, or that his desire, his original design for his children was to live in a life of abundance, not of just survival. So what we also need to do is I want to break your mind a little bit. Okay, don't get scared when you write this number down. I want you to write down, what is your thrive number? Okay, what number do you need to make in order to thrive out there in the marketplace? So when I say thrive, I mean the life you actually want. So how many trips would you take? Okay, how much money would you need to save a month to do that many trips? So let's say if you want to take 1 trip a quarter and you're going to spend $5,000 every trip. That means you need an extra $20,000. Okay, so that means you need to save X amount of dollars a month. So what I want you to do is I want you to add that to your thrive number. Let's say you want to be able to take your kids to Disneyland. That might be in the trips. Or let's say you want a self-care budget for yourself every single month. Okay, you need to write that down. I want you to honestly take time and think about it. If you're on your way driving to the braiding shop right now, or if you can't really write this down and you're driving, or you don't have an opportunity to put it in your notes, okay? I want you to think about this as you listen to me talk. Think about like, how much money do I need to not just survive, but thrive? And when you figure out that number, I want you to add that on top of, what you are already making or what you put for your survival number. And when you do those two things, you will come up with what I call your freedom number. Your freedom number is, once again, a combination of your survival number, which is your bills, and then your thrive number, which is the life you actually want. So let's say if my survival number is 5,000, but then my thrive number is 5,000 as well. It says 5,000 well to make this easier. And I think the baby is hungry, so I'm gonna have to go give her to her mom in a second, guys. So I'm gonna get up and go give her to her mom if she keeps crying. Let's say that means I need about $10,000 a month to have the freedom, your freedom number that I desire. So now that you have your number, we need to figure out how are we going to hit that number, teaching what we know. So the next point is, first we had to figure out what is our freedom number. Secondly, we needed to figure out what is our rich girl superpower. Okay, so first we need to do rich girl math to find our freedom number. The second thing we need to do is to figure out what is our rich girl superpower. All right, so let's say this. You go with your homegirl and she's speaking at this braiding conference and there's 1,000 braiders there and you decide to roll with her. And as you decide to roll with her, she says to you, you guys get backstage. She said, come backstage with me, girl. And when y'all get backstage and y'all are back there, random guy runs to the back and says, hey, you, like, I need you to get on stage because one of my people canceled and I need you to fill in for me. You're like, what? I just came here with my homegirl. I can't do that. No. So you get nervous and you start shaking. And your homegirl's like, she lay her shoulder on you. She's like, girl, did you just have a fully booked month creating Instagram Reels and booking clients from Instagram Reels? And he's like, yeah, but that's easy to me. Like, I do that anyways. Like, oh, everybody know that. She's like, look, I want you to go on stage. I want you to talk about that. But by the time you can say yes or no, you got through on the stage and they put you out there, you look at the lights and you just get bored and you just start talking about, hey, we did this thing to get Instagram Reels and I did this hook and I did this type of caption and comments and we make sure we implement this thing. And at the end of your presentation, everybody literally started standing up and applauded for you. And it made you feel so good because what you thought was easy to you and not harder to others, what you thought was irrelevant because you do it all the time, was actually something that helped the next braider get to where they're trying to go. So my question for you is, if I put you on stage and you only have 5 minutes to prepare, what is the thing that will come easier to you and harder to others? Okay, that's going to be your superpower. Like, for example, I had a braider, Looks My Cat, was one of my students. And, we walked through this process and we figured out that her superpower was doing stitch braids. I had another braider. She told me that, hey, I attract 3 to 7 clients a week without even showing my face. And she was good at creating faceless reels. I had another braider I just talked to in the DM. She talked about how she can show braiders how to book 1 to 3 clients a day, spending $20 on ads. Her superpower was ads. So for you, I want you to think about, what is the thing that comes easier to you and harder to others, right? What could you talk about in your sleep? Because when it comes to you helping other braiders, you don't want to talk about things that you like aren't really good at, that you don't do all the time. And I understand that you may be good at knotless braids, stitch braids, boho braids, but when I really sit down with you and I really think about, what do you do the most of? What do you have the most content in your phone? And what is the thing that you will go on stage and talk about? Is going to be one thing. You just have to accept the confidence that it's that one thing, okay? So really quick, y'all, I need to go give her to mom. But while I'm thinking about that, I want you guys to go ahead and write down what your superpower is, and then we're gonna come back. All right, so write down, as you're listening to me, write down what your superpower is. What comes easier to you and harder to others? Yeah. What comes easier to you and harder to others? Like, what literally could you go on stage and talk about? Okay? Now, once you figure out what you can go on stage and talk about, I had to drop the baby off so the baby can eat. The third thing that we need to do in the Rich Mom Blueprint is this. We need to figure out what is going to be your rich girl audience and your rich girl framework. So I remember listening to Russell Brunson, And he had talked about how the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make is that they start up here in their head and they create something, they put it out there, and they don't get nobody to buy. Or some people buy, but the people who do buy, they are like headaches to them. And he said that's a big mistake. He said what you need to do first is you need to determine who do you want to wake up every single day and serve, right? Who is what we call your dream student? Who is your dream student that you wake up every single day and serve? All right. So what you need to do now that you understand your superpower, we need to figure out who is your dream student. Who is the person that needs your superpower the most? I remember my journey of how I got here. At first, I was focusing on all beauty pros. And then I started focusing, like I was doing Russian manicurists. I was doing makeup artists. I was doing luxury hair extensions people. And I had found out that out of all those beauty pros, all of them, there was a certain group of people I liked working with. And that's when I started working with all hairstylists. And all hairstylists was luxury hair extension people, ponytail specialists, locticians. I was working with people that did faux locks. Or fox, however you say them, fox locks, faux locks, whatever it is. I was working with all these different people as well. And I realized, well, you know what? I only like working with the protective styles, people that do protective styles. So then I started working with locticians, faux or fox locks people, and braiders. Then I started going through that and started working with them. Then I realized, you know what? I only like working with braiders, and I'm here now. But even inside of this, I started working with all braiders, beginners, intermediate, advanced. And I'm like, the people who need me the most is fully booked braiders. Then I stopped working with all fully booked braiders, and I started working with fully booked braiders who are moms. So it's like I kept figuring out who I like to work with. And I want to share this line with you from what Daniel Priestley said. He's the author of Oversubscribed and etc. He said that you need to work with the person who will value what you have to offer the most. So for me, I want my brand to be known as the person that people come through to exit from the chair. And I realized that the people who value leaving the chair as much is moms, especially moms with multiple kids, because they have already missed the milestone moments. They have missed all these things. So they want to be the ones that exit from the chair. So what I decided to do was focus on the people that value my offer the most. Now, I want to give you a hack of who you should target, because to start out at least, because this is going to make everything easier for you. The person that you need to target is going to be who you were 3 to 5 years ago. Here's why. Because you know what you used to go through. You know the problems that you had. You knew the desire that you wanted to get to. So guess what? When you go and help this person, you will be so confident to help them. And if they do everything you say, they will get to the next level, because guess what? You have been there before. So I need you to think about, who was I 3, 5, 7 years ago? Who was I, like, what was I going through? What problems did I have? What did I really wish my life would look like at that time? Okay. Now, once you figure out who is your dream student, your rich girl audience, you need a framework. So let me break down what a framework is. If I asked you how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, you would probably say something like this. I take 2 pieces of bread, I put peanut butter on one side, peanut butter on the other side, jelly on one side, jelly on the other side. I cut it in half and I eat it. That's about 5 to 7 steps. But that's my way of doing it, not yours. Because you probably was listening to that like, that's not how I would make my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So thinking about that, our end goal is we both want a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So with that being said, guess what? We both have unique ways of getting there. So your job is to create a 3, 5, or 7-step process that you will walk who you were 3 to 5 years ago through to get to where you are at right now. Okay, let's say you're a stitch braider and you're teaching other stitch braiders how to master stitch braid. Well, if you were to sit across the room with them, what are the 3, 5, 7 steps you will walk them through to master stitch braids? You may say something like, first thing you need to do is prep the client's hair. Then you need to pre-part. That's wash, blow dry. Then you need to part, mold, stitch, feed in the hair, do the designs, do the finishing touches with the baby hairs and the mousse and all of that. Okay, that is your signature framework. That is your process. That's your signature method. That may be easier for you to understand. All right. So you have a signature method. And if you sit down with yourself, you are actually able to figure out, okay, if I really was to go back and help myself, how would I do this thing easier? And as you think about that process, just list it in the steps, because people are going to pay you the bigger bucks to help you get them to the result faster. Think about it. Would you rather pay $500 and something take 10 years to get to, or pay $2,000 and it take 7 days? You obviously gonna say $2,000 for 7 days. Why? Because even in my journey, I'm learning that the faster you can help someone to get a result, the more you can get paid. Because people want speed. They value speed. All right? So just because you know you did your math, you know your superpower, you know who your dream student is because you were once them, you have the process or the signature method you would walk them through to get there, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to make money. We now need to take that thing and we need to turn it, like we need to take your signature method and we need to turn it into something that actually can pay you. So I'm going to run through the 5 ways that you can make money teaching what you know, like the 5 ways to package your thing and turn it into an asset. And I'm going to help you figure out which way is best for you. So here are the 5 ways really quick. You can take that signature method and put it inside of an ebook. You can take that signature method and put it inside of a course. You can take that signature method and you can create a webinar or a masterclass where you teach it. You can take that signature method, you can put it inside of a membership where people pay you monthly. You can take that signature method and you can put it inside of a mentorship. Okay, those are the 5 ways you can take what's in your head and turn it into an asset that you can sell. But just because there are 5 ways, there are a lot of people that's telling you about the 5 ways, but for moms like you, they're not telling you which one is best for you to start with. So I want to help you do a quick little exercise to figure out which way is best for you. Like which way, as a mom who wants to get away from the chair faster, is the best way for you. So the camera's about to stop. And I'm just going to start the camera again really quick. Okay, so I remember I was talking to another mom and we was going through this process that I'm sharing with you. And as I was talking to her, I asked her this question. I said, how soon do you want to get your time back with your son? And she said, like yesterday. So I believe you are just like her. You've been braiding all these years. You barely having time for your kids, yourself, your man. I mean, you're becoming a stranger to everybody. And I don't think you want to get your freedom slower. I think you want to get your freedom faster. So we need to determine which way out of all these assets is the fastest way for you to get your freedom. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to divide your freedom number by the price that you could potentially charge for all of these assets. So for ebooks, you probably charge anywhere from $7 to $27. Let's call it $27. For courses, you're probably charging $97. So let me do it like this. So let's say mine is $10,000 a month, and I'm gonna sell an ebook for $27 a month. That means I would need to have at least 320 something sales, I believe, a month selling ebooks. That's a lot of ebooks I gotta sell, to be honest with you. Okay, that is a lot of ebooks. All right, but it's not bad. It's not doable. Next thing we have is courses. So courses in the braiding industry, I know you probably see people do the thing where they like $898 value, but for the first 5 people, I'm going to give it to you today for $97. So in the braiding industry, a lot of braiders are literally not going past $97. So let's say if I'm going to sell my course for $97 and I need to make 10 grand a month. That means I need to sell about 100 of those a month. That's better than 320 something for ebooks, but it's still not ideal, at least for me. Now, the next thing we have is webinars and masterclasses. So I told you guys earlier that I do a masterclass every week called the Free from the Chair Masterclass. And inside of that masterclass, I reveal to braiders the exit plan that will keep them from becoming strangers to their kids, their man, or even themselves. The thing about that masterclass is that it's free. So when you're doing these webinars and masterclasses, the problem that you run into is that you have to know how to sell because they're usually free. And if you don't know how to sell coaching at the end, then you are going to run the risk of potentially not getting sales. So that's risky for you, and mean it's actually a slower process. The next thing is memberships. So people are charging, maybe I saw a braider, she charged $37 for her membership. So that means if I took my freedom number, 10,000 divided by $37, that means I would need to make at least 200 to 300, low 300 sales with that too. That's not bad, but the thing about memberships is you not only have to get people every month, but you have to keep them staying inside of the membership every single month. And I'm just not in the business of chasing somebody every single month to pay me money that they said they were going to pay for. Okay? So with that being said, when we think about this, we have all these different ways. Oh, and mentorship. Now, mentorship is honestly, you see people charging about $1,000 for mentorship. So that means if my freedom number is 10,000 and I only need 1,000 and I sell my mentorship for 1,000, that means I only need about 10 sales a month. Like, that's ideal. I probably have 10 braiders follow me on Instagram that I could reach out to potentially enroll into my mentorship if it's an opportunity that they obviously want to take because they have a problem. So when we think about that, you guys, it's like you have to understand that it's not that any of these are wrong. You just need to choose the way that gets you freedom the fastest. And if I look at this and what I push my braiders to do is to become mentors, because we live in an age right now with AI and all that type of stuff. Information is at its finest. And there's a small group, like small percentage of people who are actually being real humans and guiding people to the next level. You can be one of those humans because there's a big pool of braiders that want the guide, but there's a small group of people who's actually guiding them because of AI. They want to create easy ebooks that they made in ChatGPT and create faceless courses and all that different stuff. So if there's a pie that has this many people in it and only this many people are playing in getting a slice of the pie, that means you have more pies you could take a piece of. Okay? So now that you understand, I will believe that you understand that mentorship is the way to go. The next thing that we need to do is, so we figured out that you need to figure out your freedom number. We figured out your rich girl superpower. We figured out your rich girl audience, your dream student. We figured out your rich girl framework. And then we need to figure out your rich girl asset. So now what you have to do is you need to take what's in your head and I'm going to give you game right now. You don't create any of this first. You actually sell it first and then build it with people. Why do you do that? Because imagine you creating something, and then when you create something, nobody signs up. And you just spend all that time creating it. You need to put your offer or your opportunity for people to buy out there first, see if people want it, and then once people buy it, create it with them. And I can make that a whole, if you want a video of me teaching you how to sell digital products and make money before you even create the thing, and then how to build it with the people, just comment, I want that, or comment that on live right here or something, and I will make that video for you of how I've done that with everything, literally almost everything actually I've done. With that being said, and those would be like the 5 points, okay? I want to give you guys a bonus too, because a lot of people aren't going to understand this one. So let's say I'm a jeweler and I'm meeting you to sell you this iced out watch. And I say, man, I run into you, or let's say I'm not meeting you, actually. I just meet you in a store and I got watches on me. I'm like, hey, look at this watch, man. You want to buy this $10,000 watch? You're like, bro, we're in Kroger. I'm not even in the mood to buy this watch. All right? I'm not even in the mood to buy this watch. I'm literally at this point right now where I'm trying to get groceries for my family. You're probably not going to buy that watch either if you were that person. But let's say if I took you inside of a jewelry store and the lights are glistening and you get to try on the watch and you get to see it glisten on your hands, you're going to be more likely to buy the watch because I put you in a state of mind and I put you in an environment that propelled you or moved you to want to buy. So one of the biggest mistakes I see braiders making is they try to sell mentorships for thousands of dollars off of the gram. And I want to let you know that that is the worst mistake you can make when you're going to sell mentorship. I want to help you, the mom. That's not good. You need to create what we call a buyer's environment, a selling environment that puts people in the state of mind that allows them to build trust with you. You break their beliefs, and then you sell them the thing. So let me give you some examples of that. Challenges. So you may see people doing these 5-day challenges. That's literally an environment. I'm telling you guys, do not sell on Instagram. Create an environment where people are ready to buy. Okay, there's something in psychology that is called an emotional state. If you don't put the student inside of a state that makes their emotions move to be ready to buy, they're not going to buy, period. All right, so you have challenges. Challenges are one of the ways I recommend all of my students to do, and I recommend them to do it one-on-one first. You literally work with one person for 5 days, and you help them achieve a specific result. And then from there, you give them the opportunity, you sell them your mentorship at the end. All right, the camera getting ready to die, so I got to run through these. The next one is webinars. So you do this 90 minutes, you break beliefs, and then you sell them something at the end. Another one that you can sell to DMs, I wouldn't do that. And another one is strategy calls, which is, I did that as well. But I believe that challenges for people like you are best. Find the braider who has a specific problem. Let's say they don't know how to do boho braids, or let's say they don't know how to do stitch braids. Help them make their stitch braids better in 5 days. At the end of those 5 days, sell to them. If you don't like the word selling because it makes you feel icky, give them the opportunity to get their life changed. And then from there, guess what? They will have more trust in you to want to get their life changed, and they'll be more likely to pay you, okay? Because you helped them first, you gave them value first, and then you sold them something after. All right, and by doing that, you will be able to start taking days off. Right? You start making money, and 90% of your money will come from braiding, 10% from digital, then 60-40, then 30-70, and you will be able to start making money and exit from the chair, all right? So if you're watching this and you are a mom and you know you don't want to keep living how you're living, I created the Free From the Chair Masterclass, which is a masterclass that I do that reveals the exit plan my moms are using to escape from the chair. And you can just go to www.freefromthechair.com/register-YouTube, and you'll be able to get your ticket. I would encourage you to upgrade to VIP as well, so you can get 1 extra hour of coaching with me to personalize it to you, and also get a few extra bonuses that you wouldn't be able to get unless you signed up for being VIP. So I will catch y'all in the next couch conversation. Peace.